At this point, I'm coming to terms with the fact that I might not even get this job, despite all the positive feedback, just because it's so long. And in those moments, I began to have the sense of clarity that, I'm starting to realize every single thing that I feel like I did wrong throughout that process. We do those things where we tear ourselves down and say, oh, I'm not going to get this because I did that. So I start to realize little mistakes that I made through the process. The first mistake I made was walking into the situation with a big head. Despite all that I've accomplished in the previous year, and even in my current role, this is a brand new process. And the conversations that I had the 12 months prior to this one, had absolutely nothing to do with this process that I was currently going through. So I had to come to terms with that I had to, come down. It's okay to be confident, but, can't get big headed. The second mistake I made was accepting less than what I told myself my salary range was. No matter how much I love the brand, in that instance, I had to recognize my worth and assess it by ensuring that I don't accept anything lower than what I felt that I was worth. But because I love that brand so much, I thought that it was okay to do so. But that was a mistake that I made. The third mistake I made was believing that I got the job before I actually got it. For those of you who know me personally, you know that I no circumstance I'm the person to broadcast my moves. It's just not in me. For whatever reason, it's just not. I can show you better than I can tell you. But for some reason, in this process, I told my mom, I told my big brother, I told my closest friend that essentially, I had this job in the bag. Until this day, I have no idea what possessed me to disclose that during the process. It's really just completely out of character for me. Even as I recollect those actions now, as I'm speaking to you all in this very moment, I'm confused. But it did happen, and it's just something I had to live with. But it's just something just felt off about me doing that. Anyways, if you haven't caught on by now, I did not get the job. After a 5-week and 4-interview process, they decided to go with another candidate. Truth be told, I wasn't even as sad as I should have been, because after 4 weeks that went by, they told me that they needed another week to decide. I kind of emotionally detached myself from that process. I had become completely unrecognizable throughout that process because I was so enamored by the opportunity to work on this brand that meant so much to me that I had become big-headed in a land that was foreign to me. I had devalued myself by potentially accepting less than I felt that I was actually worth, just for the sake of living a quote-unquote childhood dream in a sense. And then I had got completely out of character while I was bragging about something that I wasn't actually in possession of. This entire process humbled me because I learned just as well things can go, you have to stay level-headed. When you're the first one bursting through that door, I'm going through all these experiences for the first time. I'm the first person to go through it. So I have to realize that, I'm experiencing the experiences so I can pass down this knowledge to, my siblings, to my relatives, my friends, et cetera, et cetera. Like I said at the top of this episode, I don't know too many folks personally that are occupying these spaces. So in a sense, I'm that first one through the door, and I'm going to have to be the person that reaches back and equip those people with this knowledge, and letting them understand, what it is and what it isn't.